Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now December 9th of 2023, and we all know that Bob Iger has been engaging in much damage control for Wish, for the Marvels, and among other box office failures, but now it's getting even worse when it comes to how Bob Iger is endlessly trying to protect Disney and to string along the shareholders and what he likes to call the customers into 2024 and beyond. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also find me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about all of this is that we know that there's a lot of things going on between Bob Iger, the board of directors, and those at Marvel Studios like Kevin Feige. So here's the real problem with Bob Iger, is that he is one that always likes to lie, really string along, like I said before, the shareholders and what he calls the customers into, of course, the next year. And basically, that's exactly why he will never admit that these are story-driven flaws when it comes to the films, when it comes to some of the TV shows out there that have really not done so well with the ratings. But let's get into this further, because this is where I believe damage control really hits rock bottom, coming out of all the Elon Musk drama and everything that happened at the New York Times Dealbook Summit. I think that Bob Iger is slowly but surely beginning to lose focus and really not able to concentrate properly on how to do damage control. Even if he is attempting to lie to the audience, it's coming across as very sloppy now. So let's get into all of this. Now, interestingly enough, Bob Iger, alright, is actively engaging in all this damage control for all brands at Disney, such as Star Wars, Marvels, and just Disney in general. However, one major development has to do with Iger's reaction and response toward the many box office failures of 2023 and the current status of Disney. Now, Iger went on to deliver the following. As CEO, it is in my best interest to be very direct and transparent with our customers for the years to come, with, of course, where our products are heading. However, one important piece that I find is crucial to cover has to do with our latest challenges that we faced this year, especially with our motion pictures. After carefully examining what we did wrong and right with our products, we have come to the conclusion that the financial status of our films, such as Indiana Jones, The Marvels, Wish, and Ant-Man Quantumania, holds nothing to do with unsatisfied customers, and that these challenges were met with nothing more than marketing flaws with our present strategies that we are looking to adjust for 2024. Our latest release, Wish, which was reported to have underperformed due to unsatisfied customers and a loss of interest in our live-action and animated projects. This is simply not the truth, and we ask everyone, for those trying to convince others to judge our products without engaging with them, to let the products speak for themselves. After carefully examining the data, we found most enjoyed our films Indiana Jones, The Marvels, Ant-Man, and Wish this year, where there are no significant story flaws that we were able to acknowledge to label as the leading cause of our financial challenges with these films for 2023. Now guys, let me just say one thing before I really get to the big thing about Bob Iger here, is that now this is all coming in the wake of Elon Musk really kind of challenging Bob Iger by putting him in the hot seat, calling him out multiple times, not just at the Dealbook Summit, but also on X multiple times. And one thing we actually went over just yesterday is that Elon Musk calling out Bob Iger actually drove Disney into panic. The board of directors, Iger, they're all scrambling right now because they're getting all this negative attention from Elon Musk, calling them out, and rightfully so, by the way. I'm with Elon on that. Whether you love or hate the guy, by the way, everyone, you know, if you're a supporter or not supporter of Elon, I think that what he did by standing up against Disney was very much needed at this point in time in 2023. It was about time, right? I think that we were all waiting for something like this to happen, and that's why it was so large around the world. Now, the fact that he is now endlessly going into damage control in the worst way possible, blaming everything on marketing, and this is where things get really messy, we're going to talk more about that in a second, and stating how these movies did not underperform because of unsatisfied quote-unquote customers. Really, what he believes is that it's all based on marketing flaws, alright? Now, let's get into this further, because this is where it begins to get really messy. I would also like to make it clear, he says to all our customers, that none of these projects held any sort of an agenda-driven strategy by our writers, directors, and producers, nor do we support any kind of a culture war with these films. We believe it is unfair and damaging for a small group of loud, opinionated, and biased fans, attempting to convince others to shift away from our products. We see these groups as nothing more than a minority, we've heard that before many times, right? On our end, and that we hold no concerns for our films in the long term. Of course, we are looking to fine-tune our Marvel lineup and how these films will be produced for the next couple of years to course-correct the installments by Marvel Studios. To those attempting to convince others to hinder the success of a product are the types of customers we try not to cater to, as we focus on different sides of each community to create equality as best as possible with Marvel Studios and more starting next year. Now, the thing about Bob Iger, alright, we talked about this just yesterday, he is engaging in a lot of changes over at Disney. And in my book, not for the better. Actually, it's going to be for the worse. 2024, an empty year to begin with for Disney, and that's exactly why I believe Bob Iger is a lot more vocal than normal for the last quarter of this year, and really trying to make himself very present with what he calls, again, the customers. He'll never call them fans or just moviegoers. You know, it's mostly what he says is customers. That's like his favorite word there. But when you look at everything related to Disney, right, we have seen failure after failure. Notice how he did not mention the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel. I know he's focusing on box office failures, but he did not even hint at the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel closing. A massive failure, something that you never would have thought Disney would close in the very beginning stages, you know. This is something where we are today. This is the status of Disney, where they opened something so huge at a park like that was done so wrong and so distant from whatever Star Wars really was, that Disney really had no vision. And it's living proof that Disney has no vision for these products. They have no vision for these franchises or these brands. That's why the Marvel, universe is beginning to slump. That's why Star Wars is really flatlined right now. And it's also why these Disney live-action remakes are just not honoring the animated classics from this point onwards. It's only going to get worse for them, and they seem to be very stubborn where they don't care about the financial outcome. It almost comes across like they try to act like they care for some reason, or acting like they are in fear of the financial status of these films and or their overall business models. But I think that there's a lot more going on between BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street behind the scenes. We all know that they are pulling the strings here. They're all about that ESG score at Disney. That's what they're all about. They are the ones funding all of this nonsense. And I'm not saying that makes Bob Iger and the board saints, but most certainly they're not the true root of the cause of this all. So we have a lot more to discuss throughout the remainder of this week, because Disney really is just not doing well. Anyway, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.